everybody, I'm Jim, this is Warren, and you are watching Talking Vintage Vendor Corner.
Yep, on YouTube.
This is our new show. Number 1.
Wow.
Yep. If you like our show, make sure you subscribe and yeah, what else do you do? And
Watch
and watch it. Okay, if you're not familiar with us, I'm Jim Warren. We're from Decades Reclaimed Vintage Depot, located at 502 West Brennan Road, Lakeland, Florida, 33813. We are both vendors at the shop. I own the shop. I've been owner here for about 7 years. I'll talk a little bit about my history, and then you'll have to go a little bit about yours, and then we're never going to talk about it again. I've been in business for over 40 years now. I've been in the vintage business for about 10 years. I've been owner here, like I said, at Decades for about 7 years. Before that, I was at another shop where I managed and ran that shop for about 3 years, for a total of 10 years.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, moving on. I specialize in signs and advertisement pieces. Most of us kind of have our niche that we fall into. I like rusty and crusty stuff. I'm good at dealing and selling large collections. Both Warren and I have both we did trains and we did action figures.
Yep.
I'm dealing now with a large collection of Pokemon, large collection of sports cards, and a large collection of comics. Yeah, so a little bit about yourself. Go ahead, real quick.
I've been a vendor here for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
And my specialties are records, record players, recording material, trains, and toys.
And old toys, yeah.
Old vintage toys. Have a lot of fun with that. Let's see, I'm from Michigan.
There you go.
That makes any
Yep.
difference to anybody, but I'm having fun.
Very good. Hey, before we go any further, what is Vendor Corner all about? This is a show for vendors. We came from regular Talking Vintage. We used to have a Vendor Corner segment in that show, and it became popular, so we decided to start our own show, and this is it. This is Talking Vintage Vendor Corner, just about vendors. So this is for everybody out there who is a vendor at an antique mall or shop, like a Decades Reclaimed Vintage Depot, or is thinking about becoming one, or wants to know how to sell their old stuff. All this stuff will help you guys out. Okay, here we go. Today's topic, drum roll, is pricing. We're going to talk about pricing today. It's one of the toughest things that we do as vendors in a shop. We are here to sell stuff, and the price has a lot to do with that. So it's super important, and so we're just going to jump right in on it. What you pay for an item has nothing to do with what you price it at. Or maybe it does. Yeah, so it could. Yep. If you pay too much, you're stuck. You may not even get your money back. Overpricing something will not work either. So let's just say, we'll use this bank as an example. Let's say this bank trends and sells for $10 and you pay $20 for it. You're stuck. You can't charge $30 for it to make your $10 on something that is selling for $10. So there you go. We're going to keep you referring back to the bank. Hang on a second. I've got something making noise in my pocket here. Let's go ahead and turn it off. Yep. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay. So we buy a bank, okay, and we want to sell it. We've got to figure out what it's worth. The first thing everybody does, it works in some aspects, is they go to Google and they take a picture of it, okay, and that's fine because it'll tell you what it is, where it came from, and give you a little bit of history about the item. But it will bring you up pricing, okay, for banks just like this, okay, from different selling platforms, Etsy, Mercari, eBay, Facebook, or whatever. It's going to give you prices that people are asking for it. Again, I told you this bank retails for about $10. You're going to see prices. Maybe you go on there and you're like, oh, there's prices. Oh, there's 140, there's 135, there's 138, there's 165. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna charge mine 35 and I'll still be below market value. You're not, because remember, I told you it's only worth about $10, and I'll kind of explain how we get to that. So you got to be careful when you're using the internet as a pricing tool, which is what everybody does. Okay. Me personally, I use Google Lens to tell me what it is if I don't know, and then I go to eBay. And everybody says, well, what's the difference between eBay and Macari and all them other ones? Well, eBay allows me to refine my search to see the items that sold on eBay. So I go over to filters, I drop down, I hit sold, and complete will cross over there too. And then you can see what they're actually selling for. So again, I see that this bank sells for about 10 bucks. Now I know it's worth $10, okay? And I can see how often it's sold. So there's maybe, we call them comps, comparable pricing, sold pricing comps. And so we see that there's like 10 of these, and that's the window they give you is about 90 days. So you see 10 in 90 days, that's pretty good sell rate.
Yeah.
If you only see 1 in 90 days, well, yeah, they did get 10 for it, but yeah, I don't know. You know, you can go back, take the filter off, and you can see that somebody's got one up there for $5 and it hasn't sold. So maybe you need to think again about your price index. So there's the bank. I use eBay and I refine my search, and it tells me what it sold for. Okay, and so now we've got it on. We kind of know what it's worth. Now we have to figure out what I'm going to charge for it. Well, here we go back to where we said that what I paid for it doesn't really matter. If this bank sells for $10 and I bought it for 50 cents, you know, I can sell it for below market value. I can sell it for $8 and still make a good profit on it. Okay, but if I've paid $5 for it and then I got to get 10 for it, you know, I'm right at market value. Maybe I sell it, maybe I don't, but my margin's lower. So if I want to make money, I've got to price it to sell, which goes back to what I paid for it. So I have to buy wisely. I have to know what the value is. You know, you go to yard sales, people have their phones out all the time. That's what they're doing, trying to figure out comps on a particular item. So there you go. That's kind of how you get to pricing. It's super important, and what you paid for an item is definitely important. You know, that's where it all starts. If you overpaid, you're done. I mean, you got to sell it for what you can sell it for, and you may lose money on the item. So make sure that you're doing your research before you go out and you purchase something. I always, you know, I hate to say it, but I'm cheap, and I always like to buy things cheaply. And I know a lot about banks, so I keep an eye out for those things. But if I buy something and I'm not really sure about it, I can use Google to help me out about it. Another thing you can use is each other. If you're at a shop like this, you can ask vendors. People will bring me banks all the time because they know I'm into banks. They'll bring me advertisement pieces because they know I'm into them, and then I can help them price that. But I don't ever ask them what they paid for it. I just tell them what it's worth. It's up to them to take what they paid for it and try to figure out if they make money. But if they've overpaid, you're never going to get the money back, and you're just going to continuously lose money because this guy costs you every month to have it sitting in your booth. You agree?
Yeah.
Because you're paying rent and he's taking up space. It might be minuscule, but it's going to cost you every single month. So the value of him is continuously going down. So, you know, something that's been there a while, even if I'm going to lose money on it and somebody makes an offer on it, I got to let it go. We talk about it all the time. We say down the road.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Down the road, just let it go. Let it go down the road. I get a little bit of money back. Maybe not what I paid for it, but I can continue the game.
Yeah.
Because I have some cash to play with. So sell is something Warren says all the time. So it's a selling game. So you have to price to sell. If you're not pricing to sell, you're not going to sell. It won't matter what you paid for the item. It's just going to sit in your booth and cost you money in your booth. Yeah. So make sure you are selling. There you go. That's it. That's it for our first show.
Okay.
We had talked about pricing today, and let me see. I think I have a topic for next show. I do not.
Oh.
But if you want to see more about Decades, you can check out Decades on Facebook.
Yep.
You can check them out on Instagram. Decades Reclaimed Vintage Depot is our full name. You can check us out on the web at decadesreclaimed.com. You can see more of us on the YouTube channel here. You can watch our other shows, our Talking Vintage shows. And then,
Tuesdays,
yeah, and in 2 weeks, we'll be back for another Talking Vintage Vendor Corner Show. So that's it. We appreciate everybody watching. If you liked it, make sure you hit the like button and then subscribe to the channel. We will try to make these shorter. This is 10 minutes, a long time to sit there
We've been
and
on
watch
10
us.
minutes already?
Yeah, 10
Wow.
minutes already, but we appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you next time. I'm Jim. That's Warren. You've been watching Talking Vintage Vendor Corner. The button's yours,
Thank
brother.
you.